Hi guys, Camilla here and welcome to another video for Happy Little Stampers. Today I will be playing with Distress Oxide inks finally, and a Happy Little Stampers stamp set especially for you. So as you can see, I jumped over. I tried to make a background several times, and this was the one that I was happy with, so that's why you saw the jump cut. And so I'm using 6 colors of the Distress Oxide inks. I'm using Spiced Marmalade, Cracked Pistachio, Broken China, Fossilized Amber, Worn Lipstick, and Wilted Violet. And as you can see, at first I'm applying them onto my surface. I'm spritzing with some water. I'm going in with my heat tool and kind of lifting off some of the wetness in between, adding more water, coming in with the heat tool, and then I'm gonna smoosh some of the inks onto my mat that you see here, which is basically a laminated piece of printer paper. And then I'm spritzing with my dry brush some of that ink onto my surface, and as you can see, it stays nicely against the brighter background. So if you spray with or splash with the blue against the red, it will still be visible. And here I'm spritzing with some Worn Lipstick against the Cracked Pistachio and Broken China. Again, you can still see it. And I dry it with my heating tool in between so that it's faster, obviously. And now I'm going with Wilted Violet. I also want some of those dots. I wanted the background to be as interesting as possible. And here I also smooshed some of the Wilted Violet and on my panel, and I'm drying it with my heat gun. And what happens is the oxidized inks react with water, and when you dry it, they have this chalky finish, so they dry really beautifully. And I actually really like the look of these inks. And just so you know, when you blend them just on your cardstock, they blend beautifully, just like butter. It's there's absolutely no lines, and it's just fantastic. So here I'm going in with Fossilized Amber, also some smooshing, some spraying with sprinkling with my brush, also heat tool, and the background becomes more and more interesting. And this process might seem like it was a very long one, but it really is not, and it's really fun to play with all these different colors and different ways of applying the ink onto your panel. By the way, I'm using a thick watercolored cardstock for this technique, but as far as I know, you can use any type of cardstock and it will be okay, because the ink kind of sits on top. It doesn't really get into your paper, so as long as you don't spray like kilos or liters of water, you'll be okay. And please stay tuned for the pictures at the end of the video, because at the moment the video doesn't really do justice to those gorgeous colors, because when I was filming it, it started being cloudy, so the light changed, and the camera doesn't really compensate as perfectly as it should. So here, for example, I'm using I think Fossilized Amber, but it looks really matte and weird. But in real life, it's really vibrant and beautiful. And after I was done with my panel with all the inks, I used some straight dotted rectangular frame die by Nelly's Multi Frames to die cut my front panel. It's a really beautiful die, and it leaves the dots on the inner and outer side of the where you die cut, so you are kind of left with this pretty nice frame with dots that you can use on your other project. And this is how my front panel will look like. I love all these pierced dots and all the splatters all over my panel. I really had fun playing with the Distress Oxide inks. And I really love the colors I picked. So now I'm gonna use this especially for you stamp set by Happy Little Stampers, and I'm gonna stamp using my VersaFine Black Onyx ink, this beautiful flower, and I'm gonna stamp it directly onto my panel. And then I'm gonna take a butterfly and I'll do the same thing, as well as the sentiment. Then I will actually stamp those once again on a different panel that I've created previously, and I'm gonna fussy cut them. So here is the butterfly I'm stamping. And I'm gonna stamp the sentiment, but later on I changed my mind and I actually die cut a little kind of a tag and stamp the sentiment once again. So you'll see me stamp those once again. And here is another panel that I've created earlier. I really like this one as well. And I'm gonna stamp the same images and I'm gonna fussy cut them. So after I've fussy cut all my elements, I actually went in with my precision scissors on the flower and I cut a little bit the petals because I wanted to add a little bit of dimension with bending them. And I'm gonna just adhere on my elements using Tambo Mono liquid glue on my front panel. So as you can see, the both butterfly and the flower are a little bit brighter than the background, so they kind of stand out. I could have of course created a warm colored background and then use the elements in a cooler tone, so you could do that. That was kind of an afterthought, so I didn't want to create the card from the beginning since I don't really have that much time these days. And I used some craft cardstock to create my card base, and now I'm gonna go in with my multi-liner all around my front panel to create a faux stitching. I thought that added a little bit of more interest, and it worked really nicely with the black ink that I used to stamp the images. And that finishes the card for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and seeing the Distress Oxides in use. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon next month with a new card making video. Bye!